Alright, today's video, I'm going to talk through why I sold my 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor after a few months of ownership, about 6,500 miles, and a ton of fun. So, you catch me right now in my garage in Texas, and really the video is just going to be me sitting here talking. I'm going to plug in some clips and highlights of owning the Ranger Raptor, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more explanation on why I sold it. So anybody that's in the market to get one, anybody that has one, or anybody ultimately that's curious on why I sold it so quickly, this is what that video is going to be covering today. So let's talk about the headlines. I got my Ranger Raptor end of May, so right before my 35th birthday in Nebraska, a dealership called Woodhouse, Nebraska. Now that dealership, I was living in Denver, Colorado at the time, and the reason why I had to go to Nebraska was that no dealership in the state of Colorado, and I called every single one. I called ones that I've done business with before. None of them were willing to sell the car at MSRP. Not only that, but they had a very, very long wait list. Well, my buddy who owned a Gen 1 Raptor, who bought a Gen 3 37 package Raptor, told me about Woodhouse up in Nebraska and gave me his sales guy's contact information, and it was a pretty seamless process. I think I was number 2 or 3 on the wait list. They do MSRP only on those trucks. And I put in the order, I want to say around September of 2023, maybe August, one of those 2 months. The plan or the expectation was it was going to take a year. So that's what I was thinking. That's what the dealership was thinking. I was supposed to get it August or September of 2024. Well, much to my surprise, going through the whole VIN process, I saw a window sticker get created. I got the blend date, all of that. It came pretty quickly, which is awesome, right? I'm very grateful for that. The reason why I was timing more September, August was I knew I was ultimately going to be moving to Texas at some point. Now, the plan was in 2025, some point in 2025, to hopefully move here. So that gave me time to save up some money, free up some cash flow. I sold my Gen 1 Raptor in January of this year. And little did I know, the Ranger Raptor is ready for pickup in May. So I picked up the Ranger Raptor, right? I have a road trip series on it. I made a video almost every single day for the first 2 months of ownership. I knew I was very fortunate enough to be one of the first ones, at least from a content creator standpoint, to get one of these. And I've owned a Gen 2 Raptor. I owned a Gen 1 Raptor. I had a lot of off-roading miles, daily driving. So I felt like I could provide a pretty unique perspective on the ownership and comparison to some of those other full-size Raptors. And so I was making a video almost every day for 2 months, and it was a lot of fun. It got challenging at times. I wanted to put decent content out there and give my opinion, but at the same time, I know every single day more and more people were watching the videos, and I wanted to give my insight and perspective as much as possible. Having said all that, I found out probably August or September, when I was supposed to get the truck, that my timeline to move to Texas accelerated. And having said that, that put a little bit of a curveball in not only just finances and everything, wife, kids, all that fun stuff. I wanted to be a little bit more diligent and sort of free up some cash for the move. So really what it came down to was I didn't sell the Ranger Raptor because I didn't like it. I didn't sell the Ranger Raptor for any, reason for the vehicle outside of, hey, just made a purchase of a new home. I'm sitting in the garage right now. I wanted to be a little bit more responsible, right? And free up some cash flow. It's a $60,000 truck. I got out of it super reasonable. Didn't really lose much money at all. Maybe I can make a separate video talking about the money component of it. But yeah, so that was sort of the main reason why I sold the Ranger Raptor. Now, you guys can see all my videos. I please take a look at all the videos that I made in the Ranger Raptor. I put a playlist of all of them in the Ranger Raptor, or a Ranger Raptor playlist, so you can see all of them. I had awesome off-roading. I think looking back, I think one of my Raptor buddies asked me, like, hey, money aside, right? Say you had more money, or say you didn't move, or whatever, would you get another Ranger Raptor? And my initial response is no. And the reason for that is I think how I use the platform, high-speed off-roading. I go to Utah a lot. I went to Wyoming a lot. I did some in Colorado, obviously. It was really cool doing some Jeep trails, and I did some content on that. All the F-150 Raptors that I had were way too big for those, so I could never do them. So it was really cool to experience that before I left. But really, the hardest part was the tires. I think from the factory, they're, I forget, 32.5-inch tires or something like that. That's fully inflated. We all know when you go off-roading, you air down. So really, you're dealing with sub 32-inch tires. And ultimately, that just drives significant decrease in ground clearance. So I think maybe if I had true 33s, it would be a little bit better. But ultimately, in my opinion, for the Ranger Raptor, I think to be what I want, it would have to be 35s. Now, there's a ton of content. I know the Aussies down south did a bunch of like 35-inch videos, like what do you need to do, all that. For me, being a $60,000 truck, brand new, I sort of want that out of the box, right? I want that from the factory. With my Gen 1, I did a ton of suspension work. I did wheels, tires, I did the whole nine. But it was a 2014 truck, 70,000 miles. Like, that was a platform for me to build it up the way that I wanted. For a 2024 vehicle, and what I do now, it's a lot easier for me to, hey, do a few things here and there, right? Get all the lights on, get a chase rack in the back, like all the things that I want off-roading. But the ground clearance was a big problem, was a really big problem. So I think if I, money aside, moving, all that, if I had the ability to get another one, would I? Probably not. I would probably, gun to my head, would probably get back into a Gen 1. Now, I don't daily drive a ton. I work from home. I go into the office a couple times a week. So ultimately my mileage, right, is pretty minimal. That wasn't always the case. When I had the Gen 1, I was actually going into the office on a daily basis. So that's changed relatively recently. And so MPGs or fuel efficiency, all that stuff, like, didn't really matter. But yeah, I think the Ranger Raptor, if and when they do a 35-inch package, because it's effectively a Bronco platform, the Bronco Sasquatch package, which is available in every single Bronco trim, you can fit 35s from the factory. I think that's the move. I think that will eliminate all the only problem really that I had with that truck. The other thing is I've started to learn owning a ton of cars. I sort of hate modern technology, like in vehicles. That truck had issues here and there where the screen wouldn't work, Apple CarPlay wouldn't work, certain things wouldn't work. Not that big of a deal, but I just honestly don't like it. My wife has a relatively new SUV, and sensors and cameras and beeps and maintenance is programmed into it. Like it's not for me. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video to update everybody on the Ranger Raptor. As you can see here, I still have my Shelby GT 350R. Now that I live in hill country in Texas, there's a lot of great driving roads, which you would not assume in Texas, but in my opinion, some of the best driving roads in Texas are in hill country, and I'm fortunate to live pretty close to some of them. So I'm going to do more content on the GT350R. I actually have a track day at the Circuit of the Americas in March. I cannot wait. I got to get tow hook installed. I'm getting new rubber. All the rubber's right there in a bunch of boxes that I'm going to hopefully get installed soon. I'm going to get an alignment done. I just did all the brake pads on it. And I'm going to get a lot more track time. Well, maybe not a lot more track time, but track time at, the Formula One racetrack in America. So that's super exciting. And then this is a car that I've wanted since college. I've actually wanted an M3 since I could remember. I mean, probably since the E46, when the E46 came out, which was the early 2000s, which I was in high school for. And when I started to like cars more and more around that time, middle school, high school, I always wanted an M3. It was always a car on my radar. I've always heard great things about it. And to go back to why I sold the Ranger Raptor, that was a $60,000 car. This car was in the 20s, right? I had to do some maintenance to it. I got all the maintenance done. All in all, I'm in it for maybe 30 right now, tops. And it's great. I love it. So I'm going to be doing content on this. So if anybody is a BMW fan, anybody thinking about getting an E90, so this is the sedan version. It's a 2008 6-speed. I'm going to be doing more content on this. So if you guys stick around, any of my Raptor folks that are watching, great. Again, more content on the GT350R. But that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.